do what I want it to do.
Oh, I see. That'll work.
No, it always does. It always comes down to this Sunday night. Welcome to Australian Gamers Friday Night Podcast. I'm Yug.
And I'm Matt.
And tonight we're going to be talking about Nintendo's brand new innovative controller for the Revolution.
So innovative. We're also going to be talking about some other news and information from the Tokyo Game Show.
And we'll also go through the Xbox 360's launch dates and packaging for everywhere else in the world.
So, Yug, what do you think about the controller?
Well, you know,
innovative.
I like it that our last podcast right at the end, I mean, we had all this discussion about Nintendo and their products, and
now it's here.
I think it's cool.
I wonder how much more they can innovate before they run out of money.
Actually, I was reading an article today. When you think about it, Nintendo have actually done so much innovation with all their consoles, all their systems. They were the first company to actually put the directional D-pad on their systems. They were the first company to put a joystick, analog joystick, and a thing on their system.
Yep,
the first one to do
N64
bongos and touchscreen and stuff like that. Like, they've done so much stuff first, and it seems to work for them really well, because their bread and butter really is their first the games that they make, not third-party games or anything like that they rely on. I think it's cool, because if they make enough games that support it...
I just wonder if they can continue to do that, because they don't seem to bring out that many first-party games. Like, for example, how many Mario games came out?
You know what? Because it really is starting to become a tired genre that they've actually done a little bit too much now. The thing with the Revolution, which is interesting, is with this controller they're going to be creating entirely new styles and types and genres of games. Do you know what I mean? That are not available on any other system or any other console. They're creating a completely different experience than anything that the 360 or the PlayStation 3 can actually offer.
The thing that worries me the most about this controller and about the announcements of this controller was actually not the controller itself or the interface, but the Xbox 360 is due to launch next month. The month after next in the United States, a little bit after in Europe and Japan. The PlayStation 3 is due to launch in, God knows, mid-next year, for example. Nintendo don't even have an interface for their games, let alone actual games. They don't even know how the controller connects properly. They don't have that in place. And they've admitted that. They're still kind of fine-tuning and working, and that means there's still third-party developers yet to come on board, or even their first parties probably are still a little vague. They really need to get moving.
Why?
Because they're going to go into a market that's gone.
No, but here's the thing. They are creating a new market. And they've done this so many times before. When you look at their past histories, they're creating an entirely new market.
You are a fanboy, aren't you?
I like Nintendo, but not enough to actually forgive them for any mistakes that they do these days.
But you're ready to forgive them for the next one. You're like lining up for the next mistake.
I'm excited about the next one. I've actually started to become less cynical about the things that Nintendo are doing. I mean, when I first saw anything to do with the Nintendo DS, I was just like, this is stupid. This is ridiculous. I mean, this is not even cool. How can they expect people to play this system out in public? I mean, compared to the Sony PSP, I was looking at the Nintendo DS and going, this is a child's toy compared to a cool gaming machine. This is just it's nothing. But now that I've actually played the Nintendo DS and the Sony PSP, and I still think the Sony PSP looks cooler, and it is generally cooler, I actually appreciate the Nintendo DS a lot more, and I probably enjoy it a lot more than anything that the PSP has had to offer.
And so do your baby sisters.
But this is the thing, right? Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, everything that's coming out on it, it's like, cool, yep, very exciting. Well, actually, not all that exciting. I mean, everyone else is raving about all these games, and check out all.
Man, I'm pumped. I could spend a fortune on PSP games at the moment. The only game I'm at all interested in on the DS at the moment is Nintendogs, and even then only because I feel we should review it.
Well, I'm just... No, look,
No.
Compared to like any of the other E3s, for example, right, where there was Half-Life 2 with this great physics engine, a great story, or I mean, any of these other. Any other E3 that compared to the recent one, right, was exciting, right, with these amazing announcements, which were just, this is great. The last one that went past, there was just really nothing. It's like the Xbox 360. Here's all the games. I looked at all those videos of the games. And it was like, yeah, it looks just like all the old games, except with better, pretty graphics. And not that that's a bad thing, right? I love shiny things.
We all like shiny things.
We all like shiny things, but nothing has made me as excited about the next generation as Nintendo's controller, because I've looked at that and I've gone, I've not looked at it as this is crazy or anything like that. I've looked at it and gone, wow, this is different. It's cool, but not different in a bad way. Different as in, now that I've seen the DS, it's got a lot of potential.
I do agree that the Nintendo DS did well at E3, but will those games come out and when? Black and white, cool. Black and white really suits the DS. That's great. That's the last thing I've heard of it. I haven't heard anything more. I'm worried that these games will slip and just will never come out because the DS itself hasn't been supported.
No, stop thinking about, when they're going to release things, and just think about when they are released, how exciting they're going to be.
If they're released, that's what worries me. Not when, but if.
No, see, that's your cynical view on Nintendo coming into play. Mm-hmm. And I suppose this is me being a little bit optimistic. I'm actually... The GameCube, when the GameCube came out, it was not a great... It was just not that great a system because it was lumped in with the other three. It had great first-party games, but realistically, overall, it just wasn't that good. It was the kind of system where, that's the crappiest of the games that are on three consoles.
Any games that were all three. Yeah, the GameCube was kind of the unloved one.
Exactly. So all this new stuff that's coming out from Nintendo, which is innovative, I think is actually really cool. I'm actually really excited about it.
I worry that the demos that we saw, the little product demos that were in the video, and the video's not that hard to find, but we should probably link it on the site somewhere.
Yeah, right, yep.
I worry that those videos showed a lot of really cool mini-games. I worry that there isn't the potential for depth in those games.
You think that the Revolution will be launched with WarioWare Revolution, and that's it?
I worry that there's not the potential for a full-on RPG, for example, or what are you going to do? Swing your little sword?
Yeah.
Which is cool if they get it right. If they do it, that could be cool. But, and this is something that I found very strongly with the Nintendo DS, the different interface from the touchscreen made it a little bit gimmicky, and that gimmick got a little bit relied on in the game. Too many of the games rely too much on being a touchscreen game and not enough on being just a good game.
Yep. No, I understand that. But I think that's going to happen with any system with the games that first come out on it, sort of thing. I mean, it takes about at least a year for the games which are the mature
deeper
games to actually...
RPGs in particular.
Well, especially on systems with new control systems, it takes a while for the games that actually fully utilise that to actually come out.
Another Code is a good example.
I think, Another Code is
really
great
used
example.
it well. It wasn't a gimmick, it was necessary.
And realistically, I mean, everyone can see the potential for games on the Nintendo DS. I mean, myself, I'm really looking forward to when a real-time strategy game
a lot of people.
DTS. I mean, goddamn cool! It's made for it. It's like a mouse pointer, except for real-time strategy games have never worked on consoles very well.
Because of the awkwardness of
because I mean, it's
up, left, right, back, a little bit.
Not made for it. Whereas. It would work really well on the DS, and same with the Revolution. I think there's a lot of cool things.
So where are they?
Okay, what about this? Consider the fact that pretty much all those games in the arcades, the drum games, all the action games and stuff like that, will be easy to port over to the Nintendo Revolution's format.
Only if they are ported over to the Nintendo Revolution format. And bear in mind, these games are almost exclusively run by Konami, and Konami are very, very tightly tied in with Sony.
That's rubbish, because really, I mean, Nintendo can just pilfer whatever they want and put Mario as the main character. Look at the Mario Dance Dance Revolution game.
I'd rather not.
Alright, fair enough. But I don't think it's fair of us to actually speculate. I think that the Nintendo DS was surprising enough that we should give the Revolution a chance. Even you.
I'm well and truly willing to give it another chance, but that doesn't mean I'm not giving it a chance to fail. I expect to watch it fail.
Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to expect
I'll buy
it
one.
to fail?
No, I'll expect it to fail. I'll buy one. I'll play it. I'll probably have a ripping good time. But as a commercial success, I don't think it's got it in it.
Let's move on. Look, my thoughts on the Revolution controller. I think it looks cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm surprised. I think it's actually a lot. Actually, this is one thing that I was really impressed about. Nintendo, that one Nintendo ad that was done for the Revolution controller, I thought it was cool.
It was actually
and
pretty
I've
cool.
actually not referred to Nintendo as being cool for quite some time.
That is true.
It's
sad.
It's been a long time since Nintendo's actually been, hey, that's really cool. It's usually, yeah, that will be really enjoyable to play, but it looks childish, or it looks like it's family orientated, or So I'm.
You know the word is oriented, right?
Really?
Orientated isn't really a word.
Isn't it?
No, you're making up words because you're dumb.
I've always used that.
Yeah, you've always used it wrong.
Orientated?
My personal thoughts are that what Nintendo should be doing, let it go.
Oriental?
That's a different word again. My personal thoughts are that what Nintendo's business model should be doing is making a good console. Stop innovating. For the love of God, stop innovating.
Why? They can't compete.
For the love of God, just stop innovating. Make a console that's halfway decent. Release exceptionally good first-party games using the best licenses that exist in the world, such as Mario, Metroid, Zelda. Have them ready to go when it launches. Use those to get an established base of 100 squillion people. That'll get third-party support. Cash in. I don't see what's so hard about that. I don't see why they have to innovate all the goddamn time. Stop innovating. Make some money.
I think innovating is their business model. I think it's good for the industry as well. Someone has to do it.
Why?
Because it's the only way that you actually move forward.
It's moving forward. There's heaps more buttons than there used to be.
Fantastic. Anyway, all right. Let's
Moving on.
Move on to Space World. Tokyo World.
What's this, the Space World? You've referred to it as Space World. Is it called Space World? Because that's so Japanese.
Well, it is the Tokyo Game Show.
I know.
So I think it is Space World. But anyway, all right, let's talk about that. Have you actually... What stuff have you seen coming out of that?
I have to say, aside from Nintendo blowing everything away with their fantastic controller, I actually think the Xbox 360's done very well out of it. They've shown a lot of titles that particularly impress me in their Japaneseness. It's a Japanese show, and Microsoft have made it very clear they're targeting Japan as a very different market, which it is.
Well, just quickly, one of the big things that I did notice out of this show was that Xbox 360 have a lot of titles that are playable on the floor. And a lot of people were actually getting hands-on time with all these titles. They weren't just demos or movies or stuff like that, which we still haven't really seen much from the PlayStation 3 in that respect, for that matter.
No, nor would you expect to at this point. I mean, the difference is that the 360 is, 3 months off, talking about Japan's release. 3 months off, and the PlayStation 3 is at least 6 months.
Yeah, but I mean...
probably closer to
I've seen...
9.
I don't think hardly any PlayStation 3, hardly any at all.
Microsoft are going hard, and they're going well, and I do respect them for that.
Tokyo Game, no, you're right.
This is Sony's home turf, and they're doing well.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other big thing to come out of the Tokyo Game Show, apart from the games, of course,
they do have games.
They do have some games, but it was the release date for the Xbox 360. Everywhere else but Australia.
Yeah, no one cares. They don't care about Australia.
What is with that? Why? I don't understand that.
We're just too minor a market, and it's fair. I mean, we consider ourselves pretty significant when we look at ourselves and we're like, hey, we're here, we're cool, we're Australia. But as far as markets go, we're actually pretty insignificant.
Okay, well, I mean...
I think we're like 2% or something like that.
Well, apparently it arrives in November the 22nd in North America, December the 2nd in Europe, and December the 10th in Japan. And I think there was a general thing, Australians can get it around about sometime in the beginning of 2006.
Early 2006.
Which is similar to what we've been told previously anyway.
We've been told first quarter 2006, which pretty much equals March.
Yeah, which is very similar to the Xbox, original Xbox, where, it was launched in November the 11th, I believe. November 11th, 2001, but we didn't get it over here until, 3 or 4 months later.
It's pretty standard with everything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So much stuff just gets so late here. It would be nice to even have some more definite information, though. You would think that by now they could at least say, just pick a date, for God's sake, and go, March 22nd, whatever, that's cool. Just say something.
Yeah. Look, we're going to follow this up, too. I mean, we're going to look into it. It is something that has been a sore spot for us, even, for quite a while. Why the hell are we neglected so much as Australian gamers, by, the bigger companies and game manufacturers and developers and stuff like that.
And our mum.
And your mum.
My mum neglects me.
Yeah, mum.
She used to lock me under the stairs.
Really?
Mm.
Yeah, that explains a lot. No, I mean a lot.
Space World was cool. I thought there were some really nice videos from Space World. The one that really...
all the usual stuff. There was, new screenshots and videos of Gears of War and Project Gotham and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but there was some new stuff. I really liked the look of 99 Nights, which, as everyone knows, is the sequel to 98 Nights. Hugely successful on the Wonder Swan. No, I'm making most of that up.
Yeah, okay, good, right. Good.
No, but the game does look cool. It does look very interesting, and it's very Japanese, and that's the sort of thing. It's very full on kind of Japanese.
Being on this whole Japanese side of things.
I think that Japan is still kind of the spiritual home of gaming to a degree, and it's such a different market and such a big market and such a powerful market. Microsoft needs to take it seriously, and they are.
Yep, actually, fair call.
And I criticised them, and in fact I criticised Nick specifically for taking Japan so seriously and taking Australia not as seriously.
Did you really?
Yeah, I specifically mentioned to him that
Did you mean to do that? I mean, we were pretty drunk.
No, absolutely, you were, but I was fine, and he was.
Yeah.
Japan hasn't supported the Xbox.
Yeah, but Microsoft need to get Japan.
Absolutely, but...
more than they need to get Australia. They don't need to get Australia.
Agreed, but my impression was that Microsoft would continue to not be supported by Japan, that Japan would continue. But it looks like Microsoft are really pushing hard to turn that around, and they've done that well. And one reason that the Xbox has never been so successful in Japan is because they've always pushed very hard on things like Halo, which actually many people would know that first-person shooters do not go over well in Japan. They do not like them.
Yep.
They're very rarely popular. Microsoft seem to have moved away from that in this case, and I respect that.
Yep. Something else that I actually did look into a little bit and I thought was interesting was Cameo.
Cameo,
on the 360. Rare finally, is hopefully going to do something good.
Anyone who
worthwhile. Look, I'm sorry, I played Grab by Ghoulies and it felt like a third-rate.
Yeah.
Just what the hell was that?
Not an impressive effort.
Well, not an impressive effort for a first effort. Where the first
I like
game.
The control scheme, though.
No, the first game that big hype, Rare. Microsoft buys Rare. Yes, this is like Perfect Dark and Conquer and creators of all these amazing games on the Nintendo. Here's Grab by Ghoulies.
Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Grabbed by the Ghoulies.
Yes.
Which was just exceeding... it was just average. It was just an average game. I'm sorry, but it was. And then there was Conquer.
You don't have to apologise.
Conquer's... Well, I thought you were like, yeah, I liked it, sort of thing.
I liked the control scheme. I thought it was innovative.
If you weren't wearing glasses, I'd just slap you every time you say that. Take your glasses off.
No,
I will.
No, they're my safety net.
And then there was Conquer on the Xbox, which is great. And I never did play through the whole Nintendo 64 version of that, so I'm looking forward to actually getting my hands on that.
They're not the same game, I don't believe.
Yeah, they are. The single player game is.
Oh, okay.
But the big thing with the Conquer on the Xbox is the multiplayer. That's where it's at.
I actually thought it was pretty much just a multiplayer. I was unaware of that.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I think the single player is just, it's the same one as the Nintendo, so it just prettied up a little bit. So, But I'd like to play through that again because I found it really funny on the 64, which was interesting. But anyway, it's sort of a remake, so I think it's like, okay, that's...
You know, you were talking about Cameo.
I was talking about Conquer then.
Yeah, no, I didn't care anymore.
Okay, now I'm on Cameo.
Right.
And I mean, this is a game which started off theoretically going to be on the Nintendo, and then it was going to be on the Xbox, and now it's on the Xbox 360. I mean,
this is a game that was announced how many years ago at the E3?
It's just
we've still got video floating around somewhere of it on the GameCube.
Yeah,
it's just bizarre.
It's starting to just. I'm glad it's still being pushed quite heavily. I mean, it has to be. It's Rare's big thing. It could be, their system seller if they do it right. And from the screenshots I've seen, it's really impressive. But this is the one game, the first game, that's completely original and cool. Like it's Microsoft paid money for this game more than any of the other games that Rare have made so far.
But they also paid a pretty significant chunk for Perfect Dark.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, good point. I have not seen hardly anything else about Perfect Dark since it aired on that MTV
it seems
special.
to have quietened a little bit.
Do you reckon that's because everyone looked at it and will go, wow, that's really choppy?
Yeah, that looks like crap.
Love the concept.
I think they've gone back to the drawing board a little bit, and I think they've kept a bit quiet. But I think it'll look really impressive when they're done. I mean, making pretty shiny graphics on an Xbox 360 should not be a difficult thing to do.
No. But yeah, so anyway, Cameo looks pretty cool. You can change into, I think it's 9 different creatures or things throughout the game. You can turn. There's one thing where you turn into a plant with boxing gloves. I think it's a little difficult to really tell what the hell is happening because it's all out of context. You just see a little short snippet of a video and go, oh, cool, what the hell just happened? No, I have no idea what that means, but it looks cool and interesting, and I'm looking forward to playing it.
But to be honest, that's not that different a gameplay to what we saw in the GameCube video many years ago.
It looks prettier now.
It does look prettier now, but you know what? Prettier isn't good enough.
Well, it is if the game is actually solid.
Yeah, it is. But
and they've had enough time to work that. But that's the point, really. That's the thing that's interesting, which is it's gone across all these different... What?
You really do sound like you're drunk sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, just then you're like, yeah, but it's really good. It's the gameplay is it's so good.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to get just completely shattered on this podcast, and I want to hear what I say, because I think I sound a little bit drunk and slurring my speech and stuff like that. I don't think I do, but
that's all right.
Well, I listen to myself. So if I am drunk, how bad am I? Am I pretty bad?
When you're drunk?
Yeah.
Oh, pretty bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you actually understand what I'm saying?
I can understand what you're saying, but what you're saying is stupid.
See, you're just funny when you're drunk. Okay, quickly, if we've got time. Yeah. Little anecdote here. Like, I went out drinking with Matt a couple of years ago. It was the first time he'd ever gotten drunk.
This is not many years ago, so this is a lame effort.
How old were you? Well,
21.
Oh, 21.
21, 22.
First time you'd ever got drunk, 21,
Maybe
22.
even older than that. Maybe closer to 24.
Wow. Yeah, that's good stuff. Now, when did you lose your virginity? Like 22?
22, 23.
Oh, yeah.
Screw you.
Anyway,
That's
when drinking, and we got smashed on just everything. Tequila shots, I think. Was
mostly
the last
tequila
thing
did the damage.
Right, and Matt was off his face, and this guy looks...
This is a dirty, filthy lie.
This guy looks hilarious. When his glasses are off and he's drunk, it's like his pupils are just... His eyes are just massive. He looks like this... those big dolls with the heads that are on the springs sort of thing. His head's just bouncing around sort of thing. And Anyway, he fell in the garden as we were attempting to walk home. And this is how big a geek he is. This is even geekier.
This is tragically true.
Geekier than when he took the Nintendo DS to the VIP room I hired out at one of the best nightclubs in Brisbane. Had the whole room, all these view of the dance floor, and everyone's having a great time.
Back
Free
to
drinks.
The original story.
Matt got so drunk walking home, he fell into the garden. And he couldn't get up. And he's lying there on the ground with his hands and feet in the air going, it's like playing a third-person video game. It's like I'm looking down on me. I'm controlling myself.
Okay, none of that happened.
Yeah, it did.
What did happen was we were
How
walking...
would you remember?
I have distinct and vivid memories of portions of
I
that
have
night.
distinct and vivid memories of making you clean up the mess the next morning.
Alright, anyway, what I was saying was, as we were walking home, I was saying that I need a new video card because my frame rate's too low. Because when I looked around, it was all stuttery. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But at least it happened, unlike what you said.
No, that what I said happened too.
Did it really?
It did, man.
I don't remember that.
Because remember,
if I don't remember it, it didn't happen.
because when we got picked up, there was you. We were picked up by a mate who said there was you lying in the garden with your hands and feet in the air, wobbling in the air, and there was another mate who was with us, and I was like holding him down so he wouldn't run off and ring people's doorbells.
Hello to Jeebus, by the way.
Yeah, cheers, and thanks for driving us home, Rack. Look, we're running out of time here, and that's a way off on, let's get back to some gaming-related topics.
Before we encourage people into underage or overage drinking.
Is bad for everyone else around you.
Drinking is bad, kiddies. Don't do it.
Yes.
It messes with your liver and stuff. Try other drugs. Harder drugs are better. Seriously, because they're more focused and they do less damage. I recommend cocaine. Marijuana's good. Take marijuana.
This better get edited out. And we were worried about swearing in our podcast.
Yeah, but we're not swearing. It's fine. We're just advocating use of hard drugs. I was reading something on cocaine today that pretty much said, yeah, it's awesome. It didn't really say that. I read between the lines. Lines of cocaine.
Look. Seriously, everyone, we're not on anything right now. This is completely normal.
We're high on life. High on Jesus. Alright. There was actually something I wanted to say. There was something I wanted to talk about on a game-related note.
Yep.
Which was quite simply God of War.
Yeah, it was freaking cool. Loved it.
Saw Young playing God of War. Didn't actually really get into it myself. Didn't actually get to play it. But he did show me a few scenes that I quite liked because they had, boobies. And I like boobies.
Oh, yep.
It's really good to see there are people making games for grown-ups. I just wanted to say that.
Yep.
There'll be a review of the game anytime Young gets his thumb out, so...
Yep.
I'm not even going to criticise him for that, though. I need to put reviews up of 18 games plus do about 12 other programming things.
Pretty much. But yeah, no, that is something... Actually, that could be something we could talk about next week, to be honest.
Yeah, let's go into more detail
I'll
about
have
that.
the God of War review up then.
There's a couple of related issues I want to talk about as well, so... It's a little bit of a teaser.
All you want.
A little bit of a tease for the readers with their ears. Ear readers.
I thought you were about to say for the reader. For that one person that keeps coming on the side.
Who are you?
Downloading all the movies. You're wasting our bandwidth. Yeah. Stop it. Alright, just sod off.
Yeah, we don't want people to read this stuff.
Well, look, thanks everyone. All of you.
Thanks you.
Thank you, the one person, for tuning in to this week's podcast.
No, we do get readers. We do get listeners. We're one of the internet's biggest gaming sites.
Yes.
Depending on how you count. No, it's good.
It's good. Well, look, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks for joining us.
Tune in next week for more exciting, amazing stuff.
And less drugs.
By the way, look, if anyone's listening to this, please hit up the user comments, and I want to hear everyone else's opinion.
Yeah, we want to hear people's opinions on the controller.
On the controller, because we've actually gotten a really good response on the poll. More than any before. We've got more people actually voting on the poll for their favourite controllers.
Been surprised how many people really like the Revolution
controller. It's winning. It's right on top.
I expected it to be 50-50.
I thought it to be down below. I thought the PlayStation DualShock would actually be at the top, but no.
Is that second?
No. Xbox 360 controller is second.
Really?
I'm very impressed. So I want to hear...
People like controllers they've never used, apparently.
From the people who are actually voting. I want to hear why. Come on, let's actually get some feedback.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, we'll see you all next week.
See you there.